Hi, I'm Mike from 1A Auto. We've been selling auto parts for over 30 years. We're dedicated to delivering quality auto parts, expert customer service, fast and free shipping, all backed by our 100% satisfaction guarantee. So visit us at 1aauto.com, your trusted source for quality auto parts.
In this video, we're going to be working with our 2006 Ford Explorer 4.6-liter V8. We're going to show you how to remove and replace your vehicle's alternator. If you like this video, please click subscribe. We have a ton more information on this and many other vehicles, and if you need parts for your car, you can follow the link down in the description over to 1aauto.com. Here are the items you'll need for this repair. Using a 13mm socket and ratchet, loosen the clamp on the ground side of the battery and remove it. You'll want to isolate it off to the side somewhere where there's no risk of it getting back onto the battery while you work. Loosen the clamp on the airbox side of the intake duct with a flat blade screwdriver. You'll then want to disconnect the breather lines. There's a little green tab here that you just pull back and pop them off. You'll then need to undo the clamp on the throttle body. You'll then want to remove the intake duct. For some jobs, like your alternator or idler pulleys, it may not be necessary to remove the belt fully. However, if the pulley has been dragging from a bad bearing or a weak alternator, it's probably damaged your belt a bit too, and it's not a bad idea to replace it while you're in here. Using a 1/2-inch drive ratchet, place it into the square drive of the serpentine belt tensioner. And rotate the tensioner clockwise to release pressure and remove the belt from one of the pulleys. It's usually easiest to do this from a smooth pulley. Then carefully release tension and remove your ratchet. Remove the serpentine belt from under the AC compressor and then pull the loop up and through over your tensioner. You'll then want to get it out from under the crank where it loops over the water pump. You've already unhooked it from the idler pulley on this side, so loop it out from the grooved idler pulley and the power steering pump. Remove your belt. Disconnect the throttle position sensor. To do this, you'll need to remove the red lock tab on the connector and then push down to release the plug. On the opposite side, we'll remove the connector for the stepper motor that operates the throttle. Remove the 4 8mm bolts securing the throttle body to the intake manifold. When the bolts are out, remove the throttle body from the vehicle. Pop off the harness retainers going along this brace over the alternator. You can use a trim tool or a flat blade screwdriver to do this. We'll then remove the 2 8mm bolts with an 8mm socket, ratchet, and extension. We'll then remove the 2 10mm bolts. We'll then remove the entire stiffening bracket from the vehicle. Then remove the 2 13mm nuts at the bottom of the alternator with a 13mm socket and ratchet. We'll then pull the alternator forward and rotate it until we can access the connectors on the back. We'll then unplug the black connector at the top and undo the 10mm nut on the power stud. Remove the power terminal and remove the alternator from the vehicle. Reinstall your alternator. Reconnect the connector, as well as the power stud and the 10mm nut. Rotate the alternator back down and onto its studs. Reinstall the stiffener bracket, as well as the two 8 and two 10mm bolts. We'll tighten down the 8mm bolts, but we're only going to leave the two 10s in hand tight for now. Reinstall the two 13mm nuts at the bottom of the alternator. We'll tighten those down as well with a 13mm socket and ratchet. You can now tighten down the two 10mm bolts. Reinstall the throttle body and the four 8mm bolts. Torque these bolts to 89 inch-pounds. Reconnect the harness connectors to the alternator bracket. Make sure the clip is in the throttle position sensor connector. Plug it in and push the tab back down to engage it. And reconnect the stepper motor on the throttle body. Now, reinstalling the serpentine belt on this is going to be pretty difficult to show. So you want to start with a loop and send it down and around the crank pulley. Now you're going to take the passenger side of the belt and bring it down between the tensioner and the AC compressor at the bottom of the motor. With the right side of the belt, you're going to go up and over the water pump pulley all the way to the bottom of the motor. On the driver's side, where you'll go under the grooved idler pulley as well as under the power steering pump pulley. Install your 1/2-inch drive into the tensioner and rotate it clockwise to release the belt tension. It's usually easiest to get over the alternator, then move your hand to the other side of the engine and go under the smooth idler pulley on the driver's side. And then just use a light or your hand to check the belt path and make sure that everything went over and under all the pulleys correctly and that it isn't hung up anywhere. Reinstall the intake duct and pop on the two breather connections. Then tighten it down with a flat blade screwdriver. Reconnect the negative battery terminal and tighten it down with a 13mm socket and ratchet.
Thanks for watching. Visit us at oneauto.com for quality auto parts, fast and free shipping, and the best customer service in the industry.